Hey, everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I'm your host, Ben Cross, and I'm so blessed to be here today talking to you. And thank you for being here with me right now. Go ahead, hit that like button, throw some comments in. I want to know who you are, where you are, what you're doing right now. Just give yourself a shout out. This is going to be kind of an interactive portion. So we have a guest today, Rina Montalvo. Rina's having some technical difficulties, but she's working through them right now. She's going to join us here in a bit. But while I wait for Rina, I want to also talk a little bit about what's going on in my life. So some of my closest friends and colleagues know this already, and many of you do not because I haven't announced. But I kind of have a big announcement to make, and I kind of want my friends and my community, my love and reload peeps here with me here. I got Letitia checking in. Hello there. Hey Letitia, what's up? So people are checking in here. I'm hoping that we get some more folks coming in here. I'm going to give everybody a minute to check in as I bring it up on LinkedIn here. Make sure everybody's getting it. Make sure everybody can see it right now. We got a couple people on Facebook joining as well. This is great. Let me pull you up here. Hey, let me know where you're at. Hit that like button, okay? Really helps. I appreciate it. Got Stacy backstage there while Janet's traveling to her new gig up at DN Van Lines up in the Northeast. We got Stacy Huff from TRC Global in the background there, working the boards. Oh, Stacy, I appreciate you up there. This is great. I get like no service in my basement. Here we go. There we go. People are coming in here. Gabby, big announcement. Let's hear it. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Gabby. I thought I was alone. Kelly Guerin. Hey, Ben. Hope you're doing great. Checking in from chilly Phoenix. It's only 60 here. Brr. That's great. Get those wolves. Get those alpaca socks. Ben Sukia. Good evening, my brother. What's up, Ben? The better looking Ben. Stacy, excited for this announcement. Yes, hit that like button, everybody. Thank you for being here. Put it in the comments. I'm going to take questions until Rina joins us, which could be 2 minutes. It could be 56 minutes. I don't know, but I'm with you right now, and this is super exciting. So yeah, let me just let me get a couple more folks to come in here. Hit that like button. Yep, Janet's joining as well. Did Janet touch down in Boston? What's up, Janet? You in Beantown, Janet? Letitia, you look great. Man, thank you, Letitia. I appreciate that. I'm kind of a little more casual than usual. Got my little square over here doing some things. No, it's not the pocket of my jacket turned inside out. I know what you're thinking. Hi, Ben. Glad to be back on Team Live. Big announcement. Bring it on. Yes. Okay. Well, cool. Without further ado, I'm just going to get into it. Okay. Oh goodness. Mary Kate Storm checking in here. All right, awesome. Hey, hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Send me a little heart. I need some love right now. Okay, here's the deal. Here's what's going on. So Janet Turner joined DN Van Lines. Shout out to her. She's now the director of corporate relocation over there. So proud of her and just fantastic. And it's been a year of new beginnings for a lot of people. A lot of people through the show have found their next opportunity, which is like probably one of the biggest blessings of this show. I think the fact that I can think of at least a half a dozen people who through the show have found an opportunity to move on to bigger and better things in their career, which is just such an honor to even be a part of that equation. So I'm super excited for all of you out there. I see some people who are watching right now that that's true for. So I'm so happy about that. And it's really a blessing when I hear these stories coming in. And so through the show Love and Real has really opened up a lot of doors during COVID. I think it's built community, and it's allowed us an opportunity to come together. We got Francine here checking in. Francine, my heart, how you doing? Viva, great start of the week. What's up, Viva? My man, how you doing? Kelly Guerin, let's hear that announcement. Simmer down, Kelly. Simmer down. Good things come to those who wait. Ola Ben from sunny South Florida. What's up, William? You getting a tan down there, William? Let me know. Sean Griggs, hey, Ben, great show as ever. All the best for Sean. What's up? All right, here we go. Yeah, so it's definitely a year of transformation, reinvention, as Letitia's saying. So anyway, I've been thinking for a long time. I've been thinking about, um, buying a business, perhaps, starting a business. And COVID brought a lot of things also into perspective for my family and I about wanting to be close to family, wanting the flexibility to kind of work from home and be close to people that I love, and also to be closer to my family, who, those of you who know me know that my family lives in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. And so I made the decision, my wife and I made the decision to see what the housing market was like. We listed our house last Wednesday. We had 11 showings. We got 5 offers. God was really good to us and blessed us with an amazing offer on the house. We accepted it on Friday, and actually we accepted on Thursday. Had a conversation with my folks who I really respect and admire at university, and we kind of wound up my engagement there at university on Friday. And I'm officially a sole proprietor. I started my own business called Global Mobility LLC. I'm fortunate I have a few clients already. I'm taking a couple of more. Very selective about who we're working with, and we got some announcements about who these folks are going to be, and then we're going to have some more in-depth conversations. But I am so enormously blessed. I'm so honored and humbled by the people who have reached out to me. The ones I've told have kind of come back, and they've just been so, they cared, you know. I mean, people that you wouldn't have thought would have time, right? Like, I mean, you're talking about CEOs of RMCs and owners of companies, and folks are just, texting and calling and offering, support, and just wanting to be there and kind of, lift me up and build, support me. And it's just, it's kind of validating, and it's kind of validating all the things that I kind of suspected and hoped for, and kind of stepped out in faith, my wife, and she's been amazing. She's my rock. And so we're doing this. And so anyway, so we're out, we're independent. Things are fantastic. We got some great people just commenting. Kelly Guerin, so happy for you. Congrats, Ben. Thank you so much, Kelly. It means the world. You've been a great supporter. Letitia. So Letitia, you're in Texas, you're in Dallas. I'm moving to Dallas, Texas. That's the other thing. So I'm leaving the D and I'm moving to the big D. It's no offense to people from Detroit. It's just the facts. Okay. It's just the way it is. It's the D to the big D. Dallas is such an amazing market as well. Let's see here. Oh, folks are just coming in left and right. This is great. Yeah, William commented on his tan. He also relocated last year to Florida, or was it this year? It's been working out super well for him. Hope you're doing well, William, and hope the family's thriving down there. Sending love from McKinney. What's up? Yep, out in McKinney, Letitia. Letitia's going to be on tomorrow also with the folks from UTD. Great program down there of doing the Joint Academe Mobility Week, and she's going to be there presenting some of the findings from that. So look forward to that tomorrow. Russ Bilodeau, congratulations. Hey, Russ, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. You've been a good friend at North American Van Lines. Francine, this is so incredible, Ben. Congratulations. Thank you, Francine. Your friendships meant the world. Your cannolis, they sustained me. So thank you. Gabby, amazing news. Congratulations. So cool. Thank you, Gabby. And I always appreciate your comments and the way you engage. And you just have the most thoughtful comments and contributions, especially on immigration. So thank you. Congrats, Ben. Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm so overwhelmed with gratitude right now too, to the community, because I couldn't have done this without y'all. I mean, to be honest with you, like, you guys are like the whole reason that I'm even relevant at all in this business. If it weren't for y'all tuning in, taking time out of your day to kind of check in, see what's going on, listen to my crazy take on relocation, listen to the really cool people that come on here, none of this would even be possible. So I owe the biggest debt of gratitude to the people in the Love and Relo community. You've been just tremendous. It's kind of overwhelming, honestly, and I just thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart, really. Let's see here. Ben Sukia, great news, exciting times, and well-deserved. Ben, we're going to be in touch, Ben. We're going to do something big in 2021. I got plans for you too, buddy. Janet, wishing you great success. Good things happen to good people. Yes, Janet. Oh, that's from Janet to me. I thought that was about Janet, but thank you, Janet. Thank you, Janet. I'm reading too fast. I'm trying to do too many things here. Mark Champagne. Hey, Champagne. Somebody say Champagne. What's up? I got Champagne. You know what? That's a great idea, Mark. I'm really happy that you were born. Congrats, Ben. God is great always. Yes, yes, he is. Thank you, Mark. And God is great, and champagne bottles are hard to open, but I got an hour, so I'm gonna figure it out. Let's see here. Thank you, Mark. Great idea. Look at the Mark. So exciting. Congratulations. Viva, you rock, Ben. Let's move it. Let's move it. That's like a straight up mover thing to say right there. Let's move it. Viva. Okay, so I want to ask, I want to do a little audience participation poll. Any suggestions for me now that I'm a free agent? I'm pants optional, like most of you probably have been for a minute. You know, it's all very new to me. I'm still obviously overdressing, compensating. But any suggestions for work from home first tips? Let's start there. Suggestions for work from home tips. Any work from home tips out there now that I don't have to report to the office? I'm super excited about not having to report to the office. I got a little spoiled during I was gonna say during like the heat of COVID. We're in the heat of COVID, but you know what I mean. Back in the day when I was not coming to work. Oh, man, that's good stuff. Salud or saluji, as Vinny always says. So pour a little of this out. There we go. Let that simmer for a moment. Yeah, so I need some work from home tips. Throw it in the comments. Hit that like button. Maybe give me a round of applause. I don't know. Is that appropriate? Hit that applause button. Let me know. Holla at your boy. Let's see here. Let's see what the people are saying here. Let's see. All right, here we go. Rachel Atkins, balance is huge, especially when working from home. Rachel, what do you mean by that? Give me some like specifics there. Balance, like, is that like get on one foot, alphabet backwards, and touch your nose? Like, what are you talking about? Balance. Let me know, Rachel. Janet, my first tip is no champagne every day. Well, every day is not your first day, Janet. So, salute. Mm. Oh, that is nice. I could see how that could be a daily thing. Janet, that's actually very good. Very good advice. Letitia, you're a great connector and mobilizer. Of course, you're going to be very successful. Thank you, Letitia. And I look forward to coming by UTD and post-COVID, meeting some of the students, maybe even have an opportunity to speak if you'll have me. It would mean a lot to me, Letitia, to be able to do that. Eric Masadi, I just got on and missed the announcement, but if you're happy, I'm happy. Okay, E, here's what happened. Long story short, I'm selling my house. I'm moving to Dallas. I quit my job. I started a company, and I'm drinking champagne. And I'm not going to do that every day, but I did it today. E, I love you, man. Hope you're doing well out there. Hope the wife and kids are doing well out in Jax. Janet Turner, so excited for you. I look forward to watching you continue to blossom and support you in any way I can. Thank you so much, Janet. Rachel, congrats, Ben. You're going to kill it. Way to go after your dreams and make something for your family. Rachel, you've been an inspiration to me. So cheers to you. I'm still jealous about the jealous about the RV life. Let's see. You got a question from Letitia. How do you feel? So you know, this is a question I'm getting a lot, like a whole lot. Like, how do you feel? Because I think a lot of people have thought about doing something like this or fantasized about it at some point in their life, you know, and I think they kind of expect to feel like this huge relief and this huge burden is lifted, right? And this has been a long time coming for me, so I've kind of had my eye on the ball, and this is part of the plan. And while it seems sudden, it's really just the convergence of a lot of planning and a lot of grace. So I feel a calmness. I feel a bit of worry sometimes because now I'm exposed, right? I mean, you know, simple things like how to send an email become difficult when you're self-employed, right? So all of a sudden now I need to go buy an Outlook subscription. I need to go order another laptop because my wife is like, "Why are you on my laptop?" I was like, "I thought it was our laptop," you know, and so I got to sort that out, right? I got a list of things I got to buy. Need to do some logo work. I mean, just like general like identity stuff. So it's all very unsettling in that regard. But there's a calmness to it because I know what's up, and people have been super supportive. And I feel extraordinarily blessed, Letitia. Honestly, that's probably, you know what, I think what is it, oxytocin is like the happiness there's like endorphins, oxytocin, and like serotonin, I want to say. Anyway, these are like things that your hormones your body puts off, make you feel ways and stuff. I feel incredibly full of that. I feel incredibly full of that happiness hormone right now, and I feel incredibly grateful, Letitia. And so thank you for asking that question. I love that question. Letitia says that's going to be awesome. You're more than welcome in the great state of Texas. I should hope so, Letitia. I was born in Dallas. I'm a native. I'm a native Texan. I'm repatriating. Deborah Hanson, fantastic news. Thank you so much. Michael James, very exciting. Ben, congrats to you guys in your next chapter. You're going to kill it. Kill it. It's funny. Everybody wants to kill it. Like, why don't we it's much easier to like kill something than it is to grow something. Let's grow it. Let's grow. Let's reframe. I mean, I'm aggressive. I'm a cisgender male. I like to kill it. I like to crush it. I like the beast mode. I like all that stuff. But I mean, let's grow it. Let's see what we can do. Michael, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the work you do for Move for Hunger, and I appreciate your company sponsoring. We've raised almost $40,000 for charity through Love and Reload this year. $40,000. Next to getting those, half dozen or more people a job through the show, to me, that is probably the single biggest accomplishment, is being able to use this platform to connect you all for a cause and to get everybody behind it and galvanize us as a community. And $40,000 is that's amazing. And Michael, thank you so much for doing it. Rachel, we will miss you, Ben. Best wishes and safe travels back to Texas. I miss my DFW area. We just moved back to Michigan from Keller, Texas, real close to Dallas. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel. Miss you too. Let's see. We got some people checking in here. Dopamine's the other one. Yes. Like every time you guys like this, that gives me a hit of dopamine. Every time there's a comment, dopamine. So keep that dopamine coming. All right. And I won't have to drink so much. Rachel, when you are working from home, sometimes it's hard to separate home life from work life. Yes. My wife's already telling me this. Not having the physical disconnect can be challenging, especially the more busy you get. When building your own business as you grow, figure out what areas you can and are willing to delegate. Be proactive about it. Don't wait too late. Dang, Rachel, you need a Zoom or something. Let me find out you can like write a book on this. This is fantastic. Catching a vibe early in the day and morning ritual, staying out of the kitchen as much, 5 to 10 minute walk outside daily, help me stay on track. This is fantastic. We've got our guest coming up as well here. This is fantastic. People saying, congratulations, Ben. You started a business of sorts with Love and Reload, but you're taking an even bigger step as you start this new venture. Yes, thank you so much. You got this. I appreciate that. Let's see, Zach saying, good luck, Ben. You'll do great, no doubt. You're a game changer. Man, I appreciate that. Letitia's just naming hormones, which is what's up. I appreciate that as well. I need that. Valerie here. Look at Deb. Look at Deb Convery. Debbie, so happy for you, Ben. Congrats and cheers. Hugs, Debbie. Salute. Cheers to you. Ching ching. All right. Let's see. Plano area has a plethora of real deal ramen joints, thanks to Toyota. That's what's up, William. Send me some recommendations, because I'm going to land over there in Plano. Janet says, do you have the logo and branding set up yet? No, I don't yet. I will, but I don't yet. So stay tuned on that. We're gonna have a launch. We're gonna have a brand launch. It's in the works, but it's not finalized yet. We're gonna have a brand launch in January. So people are look at this. Russ says, don't wait to brush your teeth until 4. Right, because then it starts conflicting with happy hour and all the champagne tastes funny. That's a great tip, Rush. Already slurring. This is fantastic. Put everything in your calendar. That's great. You're spending time. Make sure you got balance. Go to work. Get dressed nice. Janet says that all the time. I just put her on the camera. She's like, I'm not ready to be on the camera. I love you, Janet. This is fantastic. Congratulations, Ben. I'm confident you'll be successful. There's nothing more than building from an idea, which we've already done. We did that forward relocation. We did that at Forward Freight, Eric. Appreciate you. You know better than anything. Healthy amount of bourbon. Yeah, I think I have an unhealthy amount of bourbon. Ben, just joining. What happened? Jason, I'll boil it down for you. I listed my house. I sold my house. I quit my job. I started a company. I'm moving to Dallas. I love you. Salute. Way to join. Thank you. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Ace checking in. Okay, we got it. We got some great stuff. Okay, this is fantastic. I appreciate this. All the love. This is what I'm talking about. The love is fantastic. Hit that like button, hit that heart button, send one out. And without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out our guest, the illustrious, the enigmatic, the thoughtful, the preeminent scholar, the lecturer. Oh gosh, I can go on for days. Let's bring on Miss Rina Montalvo. Rina, how are you?
Good. How are you? It looks like you were having a really good time without me.
Well, I got carried away, Rina. You're like, give me 10 minutes. I took 20. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm excited. All right.
Congratulations, congratulations. But it looked like you were doing a great job without me. You were just,
Yeah, but it's better with you. It's always better with you.
How do I see who's? Because I know you said Debbie's on. I know Galia's on. But how do I see everyone?
So you got comments on the right-hand side. So
I'm scared to touch anything because if I touch
anything, don't touch anything.
Yeah, because then right.
We got Janaina checking in. Congratulations. We got Forgot Glasses. This is great. People are getting excited. Quigley's in the house. What's up? But let's talk about you, Rina, okay? Because you're doing some things that are very entrepreneurial. You're doing some things that I feel like nobody has done in the mobility space before. I follow your IG, which is fire. Okay. I feel like I feel like I kind of aspire to like one day stand up at Harvard University and lecture about global mobility. Like you do this. This is crazy, Rina. How did you get involved with institutions like Harvard and NYU and Yale? Like, how did you even do that? I'm so jealous.
Don't be jealous, but no, you can come to the universities and speak as well since you're such a great speaker. Honestly, look, it was luck. You know, I came here, I think it was 6 years ago from Germany, and I went to an event, and somebody approached me and said, you know, I saw that you have a master's in law and global mobility, and it was NYU the first time I spoke, and then after NYU, I went to an event. I think it was Envoy, where Dick Burke from Envoy connected me to the Harvard professor. And then he said, listen, I have a class where we're talking about HR and we would love to speak about, I think at that time it was travel bans, a lot of taxation issues when the new administration came in, when the Trump administration came in. So it was basically, it was luck. It was just being at the right place at the right time, honestly.
Yeah, but you know what, Rina, though, too, about that luck, right? I mean, it's preparation meets opportunity. You know, is luck, right? And so take us through the preparation, right? So it's one thing to just be at a cocktail party or something and meet somebody or bump into somebody in the hallway, right? But what is that preparation that you've put in? And tell us a little bit about your backstory, maybe. If that would probably help us.
So I think, you know, the first time I was asked to do it, it was NYU. So it was a small group of, I think it was 10. So I think, you know, the most important thing for me was to understand what is a class learning? What is a professor teaching? And I think that it made sense because when I heard, for example, let me just take Harvard. Just recently, I just read a study on, I think it was 50 pages, and I only read up to like 10 pages of it because after a while, it was just too much for my brain. It was about working from anywhere, for example. Big topic, everybody's talking about it right now. And when I read it, you know, it sounds great on paper. Theoretically, work from anywhere, you know, work from Puerto Rico, work from Hawaii, sounds great. But when I do it, I said, there's so much missing here in terms of, you know, the practical in the corporate life. How does it really work? So I think, you know, that's where we come together. I think that, you know, theory meets practice. And I think, you know, when you're teaching in an HR course and global mobility is now a main topic. I mean, I think in the past we're, you know, seen as administrative. It was more like administrative, you know, group of people. And now, you know, we have a seat at the table. So I think that's how it works. You know, theory meets the practice. So, you know, I come in, somebody from News Corp. Soon I'm going to be teaching at NYU with Debbie, who's right now on the call. You know, Nike comes in, News Corp. And then we, you know, explain to the students, you know, theory is one thing, but how do we really do it in the corporate setting in the real world? Is there really a work from anywhere policy? Who has a work from anywhere policy? So that's kind of how it plans out.
I have so many questions right now going through my head as you're saying this, right? And there's one thing that you said before we kind of get into the lecturing and all that and kind of flesh that out, there's one thing I want to go back to that you said and kind of just double click on that. And that is, we used to be viewed as administrative and now we have a seat at the table. I want to talk about that because when I first came into mobility, that was really the discussion. How do we move from tactical to strategic? How do we move up the ladder or up the value chain and be involved in conversations early and all that stuff? Can you tell us just a little bit, why do you think that some global mobility managers are viewed as administrative? Can we just understand that premise for a second?
Yeah, I don't want to say that I don't know, what, I know I can only speak about myself. So I think in the beginning when I started, my background is talent acquisition, talent management. So when I came into mobility, it was kind of another, luck situation where, I was living in Germany and they said to me, look, you speak a lot of languages, you have a law degree, we're going to put you in global mobility, right? And it was, for me, I was viewed as, an administrative, in my eyes, as somebody administrative who, moves one person from A to B, and knows a little bit about taxation, was learning the ropes, right? And I think along my career, I think the way that I was able to develop it was kind of educating myself, kind of understanding that I'm being asked these questions that I can't answer. I have to always go back to a third-party provider, and I'm being put in situations where I need to be able to know a little bit of everything. So I think being in Europe and having the managers that I had in Germany, Germany is a really, it's a country where it's very much about theoretical. So you have to know your stuff. So I think, being, starting my career there, that's what kind of helped me to kind of be able to be in a global mobility position where you need to know immigration, you need to know taxation, and you need to know, global mobility. When I moved to the US 6 years ago in 2014, I did see a little bit of a disconnect, to be completely honest. I saw not necessarily a News Corp, because when I came in the News Corp position, it was, they brought me in because I had, immigration, taxation, I had all that knowledge. But I did see a lot of the positions that I was, approached, companies approached me while I was in News Corp, it was like, oh, you would be heading immigration, or you would be heading global mobility. And then I would say, well, who's doing immigration? Well, immigration is under legal. Who's doing taxation? Well, taxation sits under finance. And it was just, it was the first time for me to see that it's not, where's the disconnect? So I think that's kind of where I kind of view how, as a global mobility manager, especially now, it is essential, especially now coming in with Corona and now 2021, is essential to have, knowledge of all, taxation and immigration, not just one piece, not just relocation, but everything, right?
So okay, so this has been the question, the conundrum for so many people, and I want to talk about it really quickly for the global mobility people who are out there who are watching it, the practitioners at the corporations, right? How did you flip that switch and move from the administrative and the tactical to the strategic? What was that jump for you? What was that aha moment?
To be honest with you, I was thrown in a sea of sharks. My manager at the time was basically like, this is the position you're going to get into. This is what is, what we expect. And it was basically like learning by doing, and then taking courses and educating myself. And then the more that I grew in the position, and the more that my manager saw me grow, the more responsibility gave me. And at the end, I ended up making it, global mobility immigration department, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was under compensation and benefits, and it was just, oh, this is just a global mobility girl who moves people around. And then I think it was about a year later that it was stamped as, this is now under compensation and benefits, the new global mobility and immigration department. And then I started getting, colleagues to work under me and help out. So I think it was, I don't have, it was basically, I was thrown in. I didn't know what I was doing either in the beginning. Like I said, I came
Well,
from.
and none of us do, right? I think that's the other thing, the myth, right? Is that, oh, somebody always knew what they were doing. No, nobody. Hell, I didn't know how I was going to start this show. Okay. I mean, none of us know. We're just making it up as we go along. We're doing our best and we're learning from our mistakes, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things that I would tell professionals as well. We've got questions coming in here as well. Please put your questions and your comments there in the comments. This really is about you, the audience out there. This is one of the best parts about this show. I love it is when you ask your questions, because your questions are always better than my questions. So please put them out there. We've got a couple of questions coming in here from some wonderful viewers here. Gabby, oh, I love Gabby. How helpful, she always has the best questions. How helpful has your legal training been to your global mobility experience? As someone considering a legal program for immigration, I'm wondering if a law degree is helpful or perhaps not.
So, okay. So the reason I did, I took up law is really kind of weird, but my hobby is criminal law. So I was really,
Your
really.
hobby is criminal law?
My hobby is criminal law, and I was obsessed with, the ID channel. I used to watch it in Germany, and so that's what got me into law in the first place. It wasn't even immigration. I think that when I started in the global mobility position and I started learning about immigration, it was helpful, of course, because I think the aspect of law in general, how do you view law, was very helpful for me to understand immigration law. And immigration law is very black and white, so it's very, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's very easy to comprehend. But I do think it's easy for me to comprehend because of my background in law, right, and my love for law. So I think if you're just gonna do law just to do it, I think it'll be difficult if you don't really love law. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it does make sense. I mean, especially when something's so technical, and there's so much work that you have to put into it. You better love it. You better have the passion for it, right? But I think that applies to almost anything that you want to be like uber successful at. You have to love it, or else you're gonna like just kind of burn out before you get really great. But I think also as a person who's lived in Germany, lived in the US, has that informed your passion for immigration too, having actually been through the process? I mean, is that part of the experience that's made you good at it?
Well, I did my own immigration to come back to the US. So I have dual citizenship. In order to get dual citizenship, I had to do a couple of things in Germany before I left. So yeah, of course, living overseas for over 25 years, having this international background and, being an expat, when I moved to New York, I studied at the University of Miami, graduated from Manhattan College, and then went straight to Germany. So when I never worked in the United States. I think I had like a side job in Miami working in a 5-star hotel. I think it was Gloria Esteban's hotel. And when I came back, I was an expat. I had no idea how to even write a check, right? So I do think that my own experience, in immigration and me an immigrant myself, and has helped me, and also with relocation and everything. Of course, the experience, it helps you grow, it helps you be compassionate to your assignees and what you're doing, right?
Yeah, 100%. And this is so much about, people say people business all the time. I mean, this truly is a people business, not only on the B2B and the corporate side, but also the fact that, we are serving people and supporting their families as they make the biggest life decisions. And you have to love the people, or else, again, I don't think you're going to be successful. We got some great people checking in. Please leave your questions and comments in there. We're going to get to them all. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Vinny says, hello, friends. Rina, so amazing seeing you here. Meeting ended and wanted to come say hi.
Love him. Absolutely love him.
Saluji.
I'm a fan.
Oh, Vinny's the best. Vinny's like, oh my gosh, top 5. Letitia, love Germany, love working with Germans. I've heard a mixed bag on that. What do you think about working with the Germans, Rina?
Well, I'm half German, so I have to say, look, I think I am who I am because I'm half German, and because I lived over 25 years in Germany. So I think that, you know, I'm a huge fan of have German, a huge fan of Germany. So I love their work ethic. And so I have nothing bad to say, you know, but I love being in the States as well. I love, you know, right now in the moment I'm quarantining in LA. So it's good to be a little bit everywhere and just kind of get to know everything. It's nice. It's nice.
So tomorrow, so this is actually a really cool tie-in, Rina, because you lecture at some of the most amazing institutions in the world. And I'm discovering these little pockets of academia pertaining to global mobility. Okay. And I've been fortunate enough to have you now on the show. We had the joint Academe Mobility Week a few weeks ago with the folks from UT Dallas and the Global Center for Business. Letitia is actually, I think, assistant teacher to Professor Zidorek out there. She has a question here for her students and presumably for her as they're studying global mobility in the undergrad level. So this is to give some context here, this is within a global HR course or global HR major, if you will, and there's a course on global mobility. And she asked, on top of immigration and taxation, what are some other big topics in global mobility and I would say that you would recommend to undergrads in global HR?
So I just taught, I think it was last week, NYU, and we had three major topics, that we were discussing, and two of them was immigration and taxation, and the other one was work from anywhere. I think that in the moment, in terms of global mobility, I tried to speak to relevant topics that are going on now. So I would say, work from anywhere policies are I think I would say number 3 topic. So for me right now in my lectures at NYU, I have work from anywhere, work remotely, and why do I have work from anywhere / work remotely? And then explain to them the difference between the two. So yeah, I would say policies, immigration, taxation, and then policies. I think policies are changing, especially now due to COVID, and talent, talent management. I think talent management integrated with mobility. I think that, it's always been a stepping stone, has talent integrated with mobility, and now we're seeing it definitely integrated with mobility.
Well, and I think that relationship between talent management and global mobility is the missing link to getting the seat at the table. I think that is the connection that needs to be made for the practitioners out there to become more strategic and to kind of move up the influence chain, relevance chain within your organization. Because once organizations start to see global mobility as an investment in getting the best and brightest talent to the right spots, to do the right job, they're going to start seeing there's an inherent ROI in that's maybe different from looking at it like a cost center, like how much is it going to cost me to get Rina to somewhere, right? These are some great questions. Keep the questions coming, but I want to stay on this work from anywhere thing, okay? As a person who just quit my job so I could work from home, and I'm about to move to Dallas because I want to work from anywhere. I mean, I'm literally the person that you teach about. I hope you use my picture and credit me in the lecture, okay? But I'm a walking case study. What do people need to be what do companies need to be considering? What are we not thinking about when it comes to work from anywhere?
So you're a different case because you quit your job and you're going as an individual with your company somewhere else, right? So I'll feature you anyway.
Please feature me. Just make me happy, okay? Just lie to me, Rina. Lie to me.
I think right now what's happening is, people are saying, for example, look, right now it's COVID. We're allowed to work from anywhere. We can work. They're taking the word work remotely into work from anywhere. So what they're doing is they're like, well, I'm going to go and work in Florida, which is fine. So, I just did preliminary guidelines, domestic. Right now it's fine. We have 22 or 24 countries who right now have issued taxation guidelines. In terms of, you're fine, right? If you want to work from there. But what we're doing is, for example, we're saying, if you decide to go and work from Florida, you need to know that your work location is New York. We're not changing your location. You will not be, taxation law in Florida, there's no taxes, so you're not going to benefit from it, right? So, and what other people are doing is, as well, is they're saying, I'm going to go, for me, for example, I'm half German, so I won't have an immigration issue, but I'm going to go and work out of Germany. Right now, Germany is too cold, but if I were to go and work out of Italy, for example, so that's where it starts getting, where it gets risky. Number one, international, it's a no-go for us. Number two, anything that starts or taxation implications, individual taxes or corporate taxes, immigration, if I'm on a H-1B, for example, and my work location is in New York, and I'm going to work in California, and I don't tell anyone, I'm 50 miles away from my location, my work location, so there's an issue right there. So that's where it starts, that's what I, explain to the students. Theoretically, you can read this case study that's great about productivity that Harvard wrote. It's 50 pages, and it's amazing how the productivity from working from anywhere, of course, working on a beach, how productive you are and all that. But, the practical aspect of it in the real world, in a company, there's so much more that we need to think about. So that's kind of, with this work from anywhere. For me, I'd rather use the terminology remote working.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to play this scenario through a little bit and ask a couple questions, practical questions about this, right? Because I think that's the rub, and I think hopefully people can actually take some actionable stuff away from this, right? So let's assume New York-based company, New York-based worker, okay? And if I go to Florida, in this example you provided, if I go to Florida and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go to Clearwater Beach, whatever, I'm getting an Airbnb for 6 months, and I'm gonna do that. You're going to tell me that I'm still a New York-based worker.
Yes.
So you are not processing a permanent change of address for me.
Correct.
Right? So I'm domiciled still in New York State.
Correct.
What if I make a permanent change of address? Is that acceptable if I truly relocate?
So, depends on every company's policy. For us, we gave out guidance before that, if you are working in another location on your own dime, so if you would like to go to Florida and work out of there, and you're not changing your residency, and you're not changing, we're not letting anybody change their work address and work day, then you can, I cannot tell you what to do, right? Yeah, you can work from there, but we are not making any changes to your pay or to your payroll. If it comes to the point, and we've given the guidelines that, for example, when offices do open up, whenever that is, you're expected to be back at your work location.
Right, and that could be with like a week's notice sometimes.
That could be with, exactly, and then you're expected to be in that vicinity where you were hired, right?
Right.
So that's basically the guidance that we're giving, right? We're being very flexible. We're not saying you can't, it's on your own dime. But can you imagine, just because somebody wants to go work in Florida, we're going to pay for your relocation. We're going to cut taxes,
Yes. However, and I think it was Susan Benavides from Plus, right? When I was having a conversation with her, and she was talking about delocation. And it's the idea that people are, let's say, New York City is a perfect example. People moving out of the city, going somewhere else, going to a lower cost of living area, going to a place that's got less COVID heat going on, and they're just chilling out, right? In mountains of Tennessee. My buddy at Goldman Sachs is like, I'm gonna go to the mountains of Tennessee. I'm like, never would have pegged you for a mountains of Tennessee guy, but do your thing. So, but point is though, when they make that move, some companies, I've heard rumors, and I haven't actually laid hands on them, but some companies are saying that's cool, but we're going to do a cost of living adjustment to reflect that new cost. And oh, by the way, there's no state income tax in Florida, so you have a negative tax, implication here, or positive, or whatever, to the good, so therefore we're going to take that into account. Like, and you know what? I mean, what's interesting, say you have a $200,000 employee in New York City, and they move to Tampa, Florida, and cost of living adjustments $120K or something. You might pay that 15 grand to move them if you could adjust their salary down 80,000. I mean, I don't know, Rena. What do
I
you
don't
think
know.
about those kinds of ideas?
Look, there's so many scenarios out there. I've heard so many rumors. I've had the great opportunity that a lot of people reach out to me and I get different policy guidelines. So I've heard, and I've seen, people wanting to take certain approaches about comp reduction if somebody moves to a lower cost of living. Look, that's all things that are, I think different companies are probably discussing. In all fairness, they should. I think, once we know more, I think in 2021, who knows, we might have these discussions as well. As of now, we're not looking at that. We have very strict, guidelines. And it's also a thing about, you have to think, if you move to a location, is there also an entity there, that you can work out of, in the future, right? So that's another big thing. So it's not that clear cut,
Does that entity issue apply domestically, or is it more for overseas?
It applies everywhere, domestically or internationally, right?
So do they have to have an entity in Florida, in the state of Florida, in order to have employees there?
So we have, it depends on the position. You have sales reps, you have consultants, right? That work everywhere, right? So it all depends on the position. We have a base in Florida, but I think it's really about the role. Like right now we're doing job assessments as well. We're looking to see what jobs can stay remote. Can we, we're hiring roles that we're seeing now as we're hiring remote roles. So we're also doing job assessments. I think, the salary part and, having the employees move permanently, I think we're one step too far. I don't think we're there yet. I think it's important to have all these different scenarios, but I think right now, basically what my opinion would be, my guidance would be to do, job assessments, see what roles even have to come back into the office, right? What roles can even be hired now, as remote roles. We just hired somebody to have a permanent remote role in New Jersey. We do have an entity in Jersey as well. But, so that's kind of what, what I think the first step should be right now, right? Before jumping into, in my opinion, to cutting employees in the middle of COVID, their compensation. I think I find it pretty extreme in the current situation. But like I said, I haven't seen a company do that. We're not doing that. It's just rumors.
Yeah, it does seem extreme, but it's interesting as I got it was actually a Wall Street Journal article about that's one of yours, right, Rena? I didn't do it. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. I'm just making stuff up as I go along. No, but I got like an Apple News Alerts, and it was a Wall Street Journal article, and it was like listing all the companies that have announced in the last couple of months that they're moving to Texas and Florida. Right? You wrote that article, right? It was Oracle, it was Tesla, it was some other companies that I don't recall offhand, but I mean some players, right? I'm like, whoa, really? That's wild. And so so it's interesting because while employees are doing this on the micro level, it didn't take very long for employers to start doing it on the macro level to say, you know what? I don't need this Silicon Valley real estate. I don't need to pay everybody that works for me, $175K plus, just because their apartments are so expensive. So I think it's a really interesting trend, and I'd love to get your thoughts on how it shakes out. I want to get a couple of comments here, but I want to come back to this. I want to hear about the future of it. We talked about the present state. I want to hear about the future. Let's see here. We got some great comments coming in here. Questions here. Letitia says, what countries and locations have been more friendly to work from anywhere? What do you think?
I mean, countries, none. I think, states, we have right now, California, for example, Governor Newsom has said, if anybody's working in the moment, they're not going to do anything. So I think, domestically, we're okay. In around 22 countries, I think things will change when the new administration comes in. Possibly new guidelines will come out. I don't think it's going to stay so relaxed. So I think internationally, I don't really foresee any relaxed.
Some of these small countries. Ben Sukia last Friday was telling me Mauritius, which is his home country, came out with a work from home visa or work from anywhere visa. There might have been a Caribbean country that came out with this. There might have been Eastern European, like an Estonia or something, that I think came out with something. There's a couple of very entrepreneurial countries that are like, hey, you want to bring your salary over here, and you want to, help the economy and you want to enjoy the beach. But it's
So wait, they came out with a what? They came out with a work from anywhere
like
visa?
a remote work visa, I think it was called. Yeah. And Mauritius, look that one up. Because Ben Suki, if you're still watching this right now, I know you're probably half in the bag. It's you're in London, but if you're watching this, let us know, Suki. Send us some links. Put some links in the comments there. We got some viewers. You guys aren't doing nothing. Put some links in there.
Yeah, that would be great. That's something new. I have not read about that. I would be very, very curious to read about that. So if anybody has links, anything, please put them in.
Yeah, and then we let's see. We got a couple of other good questions or good comments here. Vinny says, "Extremely true. Work from home is not work from anywhere. The work from home should remain associated to your work location." Vinny, why are you being a hater for, Vinny?
He's right.
We're trying to get some sun out here, Vinny. You hate. Vinny says, "Not just an entity, but is there a payroll set up in that location?"
Well, I mean, I think the payroll is the easier part if there's an entity there, right? That's not, I have
the payroll.
Yeah, I think because I work for I've only worked for companies, with journalists. So we've always had these crazy situations where we always had to set up payroll or set up an entity. So the payroll part is not a huge thing. It's mostly setting up entity, which I've done in South Africa. We've done in Iran. We've done it in a lot of locations. I mean, that's my background due to the Wall Street Journal, working with journalists and having them around the world. But go really quick to the statement from, I think it's Sandra.
Yeah,
it's another great.
You're gonna have to come co-host this with me sometime. Let's cut to Sandra over here in DC. Sandra, how you doing? Another consideration: health insurance implications of a health network not being local to one's work from home. Work from anywhere location. It's more costly or difficult to find in professionals. I know. I have Michigan Blue Cross Blue Shield. When I go down to Texas, good luck finding an in-network provider for Michigan Blue Cross Blue Shield. I mean, great point. What do you think, Rina?
And I think this is why I saw that, and that's also a huge point. Especially internationally, right? So if people are going on their own dime and going home, to the UK to work, and there's just so much to think about from this work from anywhere. So when I saw that, I just wanted to really point that out. That's another big consideration, especially in the middle of a pandemic, health insurance, right?
Word. Victoria McCullough says it was either Bermuda or the Bahamas. I think it was the Bahamas, Victoria. Google it. Let us know. Throw some links in there, please. I'm very curious here. Let's crowdsource this a little bit here. Letitia's got to run. She's going to be back tomorrow. That's awesome. Very cool. All right, so now let's talk about the future, Rina. So you kind of have your finger on the pulse. You're talking to both the future leaders, right, who are you're lecturing, and you're also a practitioner. So you're seeing what's going on. What's the future of this movement? Is this a temporary thing? Is this a long-term thing? Is relocation dead? What is going on, Rina?
So I don't think relocation is dead. So I know that we have a lot of, we have a lot of people on hold, and I think it's going to be a bit of both. It's going to be a bit of remote, virtual, and I think it's going to be a bit of going into the office. I don't think it's going to go completely. My opinion, I don't foresee it going completely remote. I just don't think it's healthy. I also just don't think it's, it depends on the business, but I can't, Wall Street journalists moving around the world. How are you going to do that? How are you going to have somebody working remotely and writing a story about what's going on in Iraq or Iran? So I don't see that. I think that it's a great opportunity for us global mobility professionals to, be more strategic, to be, to show what we have, to open up, our positions to be more into immigration, taxation, to kind of centralize our position, to make it into a department and not have taxation by finance, immigration by legal. So I see it as an opportunity. I try to see every situation, every crucial situation to learn a lesson from it and as an opportunity. And I think that COVID, I know that There's a lot of bad aspects to it. But I do see in terms of, global mobility in the future, I see, I learned a lot from it. Number one. Number two, I don't think global mobility is dead. I think it gives us a new start. And I think it gives us a better start, to be honest. I think it gives us a more professional outlook on what is a global mobility professional. What criteria do you need to have now going forward to do these roles, right?
Let's talk about that. Like, let's equip the people that are watching this right now. What are those skill sets that are going to be essential for a thriving global mobility professional post-COVID?
So I think, what do you mean? I mean, I think that, what I said before, just basically having that knowledge of everything, not limiting your knowledge just to one. I only do taxation. I only do immigration. No, I do global mobility, right? And under global mobility, I see relocation, I see taxation, I see immigration, I see talent management, right? So really broadening out our expertise, being problem solvers, being flexible, but really expanding our knowledge. That's what I think is the key,
What about, Stephen actually asked a really interesting question. I think that dovetails nicely into this. Steve Hoffman says, he asked about employment law. Do you find that knowledge helpful to your role?
Yes.
Because I want to take this in maybe another direction a little bit, but as we talk about the things that are inhibiting work from home, work from anywhere, work from work remote, a lot of it has to do with, do we have an entity there? Does that entity have the appropriate infrastructure and policies associated with it? I see an opportunity, and I'd love to hear your take on this. I see an opportunity for the global mobility person to be the thought leader and the tip of the spear at getting all that stuff in place. And how invaluable and how strategic and how much exposure and relevance do you have in an organization if you're the person that started the Mauritius office?
It's true. No, and I think, when Stephen writes about dabbling in employment law, I do dabble a lot in employment law. I just had a situation, as a matter of fact, right now, if somebody is working out of California, that person is right in that moment, they're working out of California, they're treated as California employment law, not New York law. So I do dabble in employment law as well. I dabble in that very often. So I do think it's not very knowledgeable to have in the role. And like you just said, I think it is important to be the main person to be able, like you said, Ben, to bring everybody together. Sitting in a room and, sitting at a table with your employment lawyer, with corporate tax, with compensation and benefits, and you being the only person in the room that is able to speak on every single point. Do you know how valuable that is? I see it all the time, right? And this is something, that I really want to share with everybody, because I do think, there's so many of us out there. All you guys are so smart. So, I mean, if we already know one aspect of it, we can learn the second and third, right? So I think that instead of worrying about what's going to happen to our role, right? I think we should be looking at it as to, let me expand my role. So when I, speak to my manager, I can say, well, now I'm doing immigration, now I'm doing this. So that's how I see it. That's why I think it's so important that I love sharing, that knowledge, exposure about knowing a bit of everything with everyone.
I love it. What you just described, being at that table and being the one that can connect the different dots and bring it all together into a strategy, right? And now is the opportunity for us to add more dots that we can connect and add to our toolkit. Rina, I love it. So it's a beautiful way forward. I guess I have so many questions, but I'm gonna pivot just for a moment, right? Because we're talking about opportunities, right? And obviously I announced, my little opportunity, right? And I'm sure you're drinking just coffee right now, but I'm not. So anyway, but I've noticed on social, you've been talking about RMC a little bit. Do you want to share just a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so basically it's just, it's nothing really big. It's just basically I wanted to separate my university, my speaking events, separate from my work. It was kind of getting to the point. You know, for me, I'm very much about compliance, and because of course, you know, I'm very much into law. So it was just very important for me that I'm able to kind of separate both of them and be able to, when I'm speaking to my manager, that they know exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And RMC is for me just my own kind of, you know, dabble that I do on the side when I do universities, Harvard and Yale, or, you know, speak. And it's also something that I put together for, you know, global mobility professionals, that they can go on and say, hey, you know, didn't you speak about this? Let me ask her about this. So it's just kind of hard sometimes to kind of remember things that I was on. So I just did it kind of to separate the two and to kind of be more strategic into, this is work, this is what I'm doing for work, and this is what I'm doing on the side, right?
I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Just trying to keep everything clean, making sure there's no misunderstandings or, you know, just making sure.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. So if people are looking to add more dots to more dots that they can connect, or more tools in their toolkit, or whatever metaphor we want to mix in here, can they reach out to you, Rina? And
of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
awesome.
Look, alone. I mean, I'm gonna bring it up now. I hope she doesn't kill me, Debbie. I love you, but like alone, you know, Debbie's a dear, dear friend of mine. We've been working together and speaking events for, I think it's been about 2 years. And she's not only a great colleague, but also a dear friend. And alone, what we're doing with her now, you know, she's doing immigration, and we're, you know, speaking at NYU, and we will be speaking about all the basics of global mobility and immigration. Just that alone, right? That we're able to support each other. And, you know, she has also the same background I have, talent acquisition and recruitment. So I think, you know, we're here to support each other. So anybody, reach out anytime, you know, and, you know, I'm happy to connect.
Yeah, this is really cool. I love Debbie. She's fantastic. I've heard her speak several times. I consider her a friend. I love the fact that you guys are partnering up here on this and speaking together. You know, I love the fact that mobility is now in the academic world now. I think it's so cool to just raise the level, whether it be research and just thought leadership. It's just very exciting. So I applaud that, and I think it's really cool. Is there anything that you want to plug coming up that we can tune into or we can support?
No, I think, you know, honestly, I just came back. You know, I was out a year myself due to surgery. Happy to be back. Happy to see, you know, everybody again, and it's just so exciting what's going on. So I really see this for all of us as a huge opportunity, man. You know, for all us global mobility professionals to really, like you said, I love the way you said it, connect the dots and just bring more to the table. So I'm really excited for 2021. I think that, you know, none of us should be worrying about our jobs. If anything, we should be acquiring knowledge and looking forward to what's going to come of us, you know?
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask you to share a final word. We got a couple comments coming in. I just want to honor those real quick here, and then I'm gonna ask you for a final thought here to leave us with. William Keating, in my opinion, one of the most important traits to being successful in global mobility is the ability to thrive in ambiguity. I remember my boss taught me that when I was 25 years old. He's like, you need to be more comfortable with ambiguity, and I said, Tim, what do you mean? And that was me. Anyway, now I'm totally cool with it. Bridget, totally agree. Rina, also maintaining great networks to source knowledge. We don't hold ourselves. Oh gosh, your network is your net worth. I love that saying.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Anka coming in with some research. Thank you for raising the bar here with a little research. Bahamas, Hawaii said they will be doing a similar thing and pay for your round trip flight if you work from there temporarily. Shut your mouth, Anka. Put a link in there. I don't believe it. I need receipts, Anka. I don't believe it. It's crazy. It's too good to be true. Hawaii. I wish I could be on that flight right now too. Gosh, it's like 30 degrees here in Detroit. Look, Gabby's throwing a link out here. Gabby, always in a pinch. Gabby, you're the best. Appreciate you. And yes, Victoria, the first half of the show is dedicated to my repatriation to the great state of Texas. Rina, this has been fantastic. I love talking to you. I just love the way you approach things. You want to leave us with a final word?
No, I wish everybody really happy holidays. And I can't wait to see everybody again in 2021. I'm sure you're going to continue in your new adventure, right? So we're looking forward to that. and looking forward to what's going to come up with us in 2021, right?
Yeah, for sure. And Rina, I would love to collaborate with you more as you continue to build the brand and build the thought leadership and everything. I'm just so impressed with where you've brought global mobility. So keep doing your thing, and know that we support you. Love to have you back on, and anything that we can do in the community to support, just let us know. Okay. Thank you so much, Rina.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, and hey, everybody, stay tuned tomorrow. We got the joint academe and mobility session coming on. We're going to basically report out some of the findings from the winning team. So that's exciting. We've also got Christina Blondheim coming on. She's always a blast. We got Hervoye coming on from TRC Global. He's got a fantastic story. And we've got Jennifer Anderson, founder of Claim Shield, coming on this week too. So great lineup. And then we are taking a 2-week hiatus, sabbatical, break, vacation, holiday. And so anyway, thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all your comments. You guys make it wonderful. See y'all tomorrow. Take care, everybody.